Hello and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. We're going to talk about something that's often difficult, something many of us tend to shy away from, but something that touches all our lives eventually. We're talking about the later stages of life, and specifically about recognizing some of the subtle changes that might occur in ourselves or our loved ones as they approach their final year. Now, I know this can feel like a heavy topic. Thinking about the end of life isn't easy. It can bring up feelings of sadness, perhaps fear or uncertainty. And maybe you've noticed some changes recently. Perhaps you're feeling a shift in your own energy levels that feels different than just getting older. Or maybe you're caring for a parent, a spouse, or a dear friend, and you've sensed subtle shifts in their routines, their appetite, or just their overall presence, and it's left you wondering, maybe even worrying a little. You're not alone in those feelings. It's natural to observe these things and to want to understand them better. The goal of our conversation today isn't to be morbid or to make predictions. Absolutely not. Life is full of surprises, and the human spirit is incredibly resilient. Instead, our aim is to foster understanding and awareness. Recognizing potential signs can help us provide better support, ensure comfort, make informed decisions about care, and perhaps most importantly, open the door for meaningful conversations and connections during a significant time. It's about navigating this part of life's journey with as much compassion, knowledge, and grace as possible. So, in this video, we'll gently explore 5 potential signs that someone might be entering their final year. Subtle warnings that, while not definitive, are worth being aware of. Let's begin with something quite fundamental: changes in appetite and weight. We all have days where we're not particularly hungry, or perhaps we indulge a bit more than usual. That's perfectly normal. What we're talking about here is a more significant, consistent shift. It might start subtly. Perhaps meals that were once eagerly anticipated just don't hold the same appeal anymore. Favorite foods might be left untouched. Or maybe the person just feels full very quickly, eating only a few bites before pushing the plate away. This isn't usually about being picky. It often reflects deeper physiological changes. As the body prepares to slow down, its energy requirements can decrease significantly. The digestive system might become less efficient, making eating uncomfortable, causing feelings of nausea, or simply reducing the sensation of hunger. Sometimes there might be physical difficulties, like trouble chewing or swallowing, that make eating a chore rather than a pleasure. Chronic illnesses or the side effects of certain medications can also play a huge role in suppressing appetite. You might notice this physically, beyond just observing eating habits. Clothes might start to look looser, even baggy. There might be a noticeable loss of weight, even when the person isn't actively trying to diet. This isn't the kind of weight loss that comes from a new exercise routine. It often feels more like a gradual fading. Seeing someone you care about lose weight and their interest in food can be distressing. Our instinct is often to coax them. Just try a little more, because food is so deeply connected in our minds with nourishment, health, and caring. While ensuring proper nutrition is always important, especially if there are treatable underlying causes that a doctor should investigate, trying to force someone to eat when their body is signaling otherwise can sometimes cause more distress. Instead, the focus might need to shift. Think about small, frequent, nutrient-dense offerings rather than large meals. Things like soups, smoothies, puddings, or small portions of soft, easy-to-digest foods might be more appealing. Sometimes simply enhancing the flavor of food can help. But crucially, it's also about respecting their choices and focusing on comfort. If eating becomes a battleground, it detracts from the quality of the time you have. Sometimes simply sitting with them during meal times, offering companionship, even if they eat very little, means more than the amount of food consumed. It's a delicate balance, and open communication, along with medical guidance, is key. Related to this change in physical energy needs is another sign we often observe: a significant increase in fatigue and the need for sleep. Again, we need to distinguish this from the normal tiredness we all experience, especially as we age. We all have days when we need an afternoon nap or feel a bit sluggish. This is different. This is a profound sense of weariness that doesn't seem to lift even after a night's rest. It might manifest as sleeping for much longer periods than usual, both during the night and taking multiple naps during the day. You might notice the person dozing off frequently, perhaps even in the middle of a conversation or while watching television. Activities that were once routine, like getting dressed, taking a short walk, or visiting with friends, might suddenly seem utterly exhausting, requiring long periods of rest afterwards. Their world might seem to shrink as their energy reserves dwindle, and they spend more and more time resting in bed or in a favorite chair. Why does this happen? It's often the body's way of conserving precious energy. As bodily systems slow down, and perhaps as chronic conditions take their toll, the physical resources just aren't there to maintain previous levels of activity. Metabolic changes occurring deep within the body can contribute to this pervasive fatigue. It's like the body understands it needs to allocate its remaining energy very carefully. Seeing someone transition from being active and engaged to spending most of their time sleeping or resting can be difficult to witness. It can feel like they're withdrawing. And while it's always essential to consult a doctor to rule out other potential causes for fatigue, things like anemia, depression, thyroid issues, or medication side effects, which might be treatable, sometimes this increased need for sleep is simply part of the natural end-of-life process. If that's the case, the most compassionate response is often to accept and support it. Ensure their resting place is comfortable and peaceful. Adapt your visits and interactions to their energy levels. Perhaps shorter, quieter visits are better than long, demanding outings. Reading aloud, playing soft music, or simply sitting quietly beside them can be comforting forms of connection that don't require much energy from them. It's about meeting them where they are, respecting their body's need for rest, and finding ways to connect that honor their current capacity. Understanding that this profound fatigue might be a natural part of the journey can help shift our perspective from worry to compassionate support. These first two signs, the significant decrease in appetite and the overwhelming fatigue, often go hand in hand, painting a picture of the body beginning to slow down and conserve its resources. They are perhaps among the more noticeable physical shifts, but they aren't the only changes that might signal this stage of life is approaching. There are other changes, sometimes more social or emotional, that are also important to be aware of. Indeed, beyond the physical slowing down reflected in appetite and energy levels, we often see a parallel shift inward, a kind of social withdrawal or decreased engagement with the outside world. This isn't necessarily about being unfriendly or antisocial. It's often a deeper change, a gradual turning inward that can be quite noticeable, especially if the person was previously very sociable. You might observe that they talk less than they used to. Conversations might become shorter, or they might seem content to just sit quietly while others talk around them. Invitations to social gatherings, even small ones with close family or friends, might be declined more often. Hobbies and activities that once brought joy, perhaps gardening, playing cards, knitting, or following favorite sports teams, might gradually be abandoned. They might show less interest in news or current events, things that previously sparked lively discussion. It can feel like their focus is narrowing, pulling away from the external world and turning towards something more internal. This withdrawal can stem from several factors we've already touched upon. Physical fatigue certainly plays a role. Socializing requires energy they simply may not have. Difficulty hearing or seeing can make group interactions frustrating or overwhelming. Pain or discomfort can also make it hard to focus on anything else. But sometimes this turning inward seems more profound, almost like a psychological preparation. It can be a time of quiet reflection, of processing a lifetime of experiences, memories, and relationships. They might be sorting through things internally, making peace, or simply finding comfort in stillness rather than activity. It can be challenging for loved ones when someone starts to withdraw. We might feel shut out, worried they are lonely, or depressed. and depression is certainly something to consider and discuss with a doctor, as it's treatable. Our instinct might be to try and cheer them up, to draw them back into activities, to fill the silence. And while encouraging gentle connection is good, it's also important to respect their need for quiet and space if that's what they seem to prefer. Instead of pushing for participation in activities they no longer seem interested in, perhaps focus on presence. Just being there quietly, holding a hand, reading a book in the same room, or watching a gentle program together without needing constant conversation can be deeply comforting. It conveys care and companionship without demanding energy they don't have. Sometimes the most meaningful interactions in this phase aren't about lively chats, but about shared moments of peace and quiet understanding. Recognizing that this withdrawal might be a natural part of the process, a way of conserving emotional and physical energy, can help us respond with patience and acceptance rather than pressure. Alongside these changes in social energy, another area where shifts can occur, and one that can sometimes be unsettling for family and friends, involves changes in communication or their mental state. This isn't always about memory loss in the way we typically think of dementia, although that can be a factor for some. It's often more variable and sometimes includes periods of confusion, restlessness, or even saying things that seem out of character or don't make logical sense. For instance, you might notice increased confusion, especially about time, place, or people. They might mistake a family member for someone else, think they are in a different location, or talk about events from the distant past as if they are happening now. There might be moments where their speech is rambling or difficult to follow. Sometimes restlessness or agitation can occur. They might fidget, try to get out of bed repeatedly, even if they are weak or seem distressed, without being able to articulate why. This can be particularly hard to witness and manage. Conversely, and sometimes quite unexpectedly, there can also be moments of remarkable clarity and lucidity, even in someone who has been confused. They might suddenly speak very clearly, share a poignant memory, express love or gratitude, or even offer profound insights or advice. Some people describe these as moments of terminal lucidity. Similarly, some individuals may begin talking about going home, even when they are home, or speak of seeing relatives or friends who have already passed away. They might mention preparing for a journey or needing to leave. These shifts can be caused by various factors: metabolic changes in the body, reduced oxygen flow to the brain, dehydration, infections, like urinary tract infections, which can significantly impact mental state in older adults. Or the side effects of medications can all contribute to confusion or delirium. Pain can also manifest as agitation or restlessness. It's absolutely crucial to involve healthcare professionals here. They can help identify and treat any underlying reversible causes, like infections or medication issues, and can offer strategies or medications to manage distressing symptoms, like severe agitation, ensuring the person's comfort and safety. From a supportive standpoint, patience and calm reassurance are vital when someone is confused or disoriented. Arguing or trying to force them into our reality often increases distress. Instead, gently reorienting them might help. "We're here at home, Mom. It's Tuesday afternoon." Sometimes just validating their feeling, even if the content is confused, is more effective. "It sounds like you're feeling worried," or "You're thinking about your mother today." Respond calmly to restlessness, checking for obvious causes like pain or needing to use the restroom, and speak reassuringly. And when those moments of clarity or seemingly symbolic language occur, talking about journeys or seeing loved ones, try to listen with an open heart. While it can feel strange or even scary, dismissing these experiences might close off an opportunity for connection. Sometimes these are ways the person is processing their transition or expressing things they can't say more directly. Listening without judgment, offering comfort, and being present for these unique communication moments can be incredibly meaningful, both for them and for you. It's about navigating these changes, both the confusing and the clear, with compassion and a willingness to understand what might lie beneath the surface. These changes, the turning inward socially and the shifts in mental clarity or communication represent significant adjustments in how the person interacts with the world and expresses their inner state. They add another layer to the picture, building upon the physical changes we discussed earlier. And there's still another aspect we often notice related more directly to their physical being and comfort. Yes, changes related directly to their physical comfort and the way their body is functioning can become more apparent as time progresses. This fifth sign often involves more observable physical changes that signal the body's systems are slowing down significantly. This might include changes in pain levels, breathing patterns, or even the way their skin looks and feels. Managing pain is, of course, crucial throughout life, but it can become a more prominent concern in the final months or year. Chronic conditions might worsen, or new sources of discomfort might arise. What's sometimes different is how the pain is expressed or managed. Someone who is becoming weaker or more withdrawn might not be able to clearly articulate their pain. You might need to look for nonverbal cues, things like grimacing, moaning, restlessness, guarding a particular body part, or resisting care or movement. It's so important to be attuned to these subtle signs and to work closely with doctors and potentially palliative care or hospice teams. Their expertise is invaluable in finding the right combination of medications and comfort measures to keep pain managed effectively, ensuring dignity and peace. Effective pain management isn't about giving up. It's about ensuring the best possible quality of life for the time remaining. Beyond pain, you might notice distinct changes in breathing. It's common for breathing patterns to become irregular. There might be periods of shallow breathing followed by deeper breaths, or even pauses between breaths that last for several seconds, sometimes up to a minute. This pattern, sometimes called Cheney-Stokes breathing, can be alarming to witness, but it's often not distressing for the person experiencing it. It reflects changes in the brain's automatic control of respiration as the body conserves energy. There might also be congestion or rattling sounds when breathing, sometimes called a death rattle. While this can sound distressing to us, healthcare professionals assure us it's usually not uncomfortable for the person, resulting from secretions pooling because they are too weak to cough effectively. Again, positioning and sometimes medications can help manage these symptoms for comfort. Another observable change often relates to circulation. As the heart works less efficiently and blood flow slows down, particularly to the extremities, the hands, arms, feet, and legs may start to feel cool, even cold, to the touch. The skin's color might also change. It might appear pale or bluish, particularly around the lips and nail beds. In the final days or hours, a pattern called mottling might appear, a purplish, blotchy, lace-like pattern on the skin, often starting on the feet and legs and moving upwards. These changes indicate that the body's circulatory system is shutting down and redirecting blood flow towards the vital organs. While seeing these changes can be difficult, understanding them as part of a natural process can sometimes lessen the anxiety they might cause. Keeping the person warm with light blankets, heavy ones can feel restrictive, and ensuring their skin is kept moisturized can provide comfort. So, as we've gently walked through these potential signs, the significant decrease in appetite and the accompanying weight loss, the profound fatigue and increased need for sleep, the tendency to withdraw socially and turn inward, the sometimes confusing or unexpectedly lucid changes in communication, and finally, these more overt physical changes in comfort, breathing, and circulation. It helps us form a clearer, though certainly not definitive, picture. It's important to remember that not everyone will experience all of these signs, nor will they experience them in the same way or on the same timeline. Some changes might be very gradual, unfolding over many months, while others might appear more rapidly. And crucially, many of these symptoms, viewed in isolation, could be due to other treatable conditions. That's why ongoing communication with healthcare providers is absolutely essential. They can help decipher what's happening, rule out or treat other causes, and provide guidance tailored to the individual's specific situation. Knowing about these potential signs isn't about trying to predict the exact future or about losing hope. Far from it. Life is precious, and every day holds potential. Rather, this awareness is a form of preparedness. It equips us, whether we are experiencing some of these changes ourselves or witnessing them in someone we love, to approach this time with greater understanding and compassion. It allows us to shift focus, perhaps from aggressive treatments towards ensuring comfort, dignity, and quality of life. It can open the door to important conversations about wishes, about fears, about legacies, and about love, conversations that might otherwise be left unsaid. Recognizing these subtle warnings allows us to provide better support. We can adjust our expectations, tailor our care, and focus on what truly matters most in these moments: connection, comfort, and cherishing the time we have. It's about meeting the person where they are, respecting their changing needs and energy levels, and finding ways to express love and care that resonate with their current reality. Simple acts like holding a hand, playing favorite music softly, sharing quiet companionship, ensuring they are physically comfortable, or facilitating meaningful goodbyes can make an enormous difference. Remember, navigating the later stages of life, whether it's our own journey or that of a loved one, requires immense courage, patience, and love. There's no single right way to feel or react. Allow yourself grace if you're a caregiver feeling overwhelmed, or if you're the one experiencing these changes and feeling uncertain. Knowledge can be empowering, helping us to make informed choices and advocate for compassionate care. Small adjustments, guided by awareness and love, can profoundly impact the quality of these precious final chapters. I truly hope this conversation has been helpful, perhaps shedding some light on a topic that often stays in the shadows. It's not easy, but facing it with information and empathy can make a world of difference. I'd be genuinely interested to hear your thoughts or perhaps experiences if you feel comfortable sharing in the comments below. Sometimes, sharing our stories helps us feel less alone on these journeys. And if you found this video valuable, please do give it a thumbs up. It helps others find it too. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We aim to share more content focused on navigating life's changes with grace and support. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Here's to embracing life in all its seasons with understanding, compassion, and love. Till next time.